Today you're going to glaze your pinch and coil pot. So here's some examples. You're going to glaze everywhere except underneath. The part that touches the table will also touch the kiln shelf, and you don't want it to get stuck to the kiln shelf. So we're not going to glaze that part. All right, so I have my colors chosen. I'm going to glaze this one the same colors as on here so you can see what it looks like before it's fired, because that sometimes is a little tricky to imagine. You got to trust the color name. So this is blush, bright white, and violet. And this was blush, bright white, and violet. But remember, I've got to fire it again in the kiln, and it is going to look different after doing that. It's going to look chalky right now and kind of dull, and then after I fire it, it'll be bright and shiny. So you're going to choose 3 colors for the 3 sections. So there's the inside and the top coil that all connect, and then there's your spheres, and then there's the pinch pot. So I'm using the blush, which is like a pink, on my inside and my top coil. And remember, you want 2 layers of glaze or 1 really thick layer of glaze. If it's too thin, you'll see through, because glaze is glass, so it's translucent. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And I'm going to rinse my brush in between colors, but I don't need water to make glaze work. So I'm gonna pinch the water out, because too much water is gonna make this like watery and runny and thinner. We don't want that. So next, I'm going to do my spheres. And you might say, but why do I need to paint it white? And why does the white kind of look light blue? Again, you got to trust the process. After it's cooked, it is going to be bright white. And you want to put the white on it, because otherwise it's going to be like rough and chalky and not shiny and bright like everything else. So even if you want something to be white, you need to glaze it white. There's also, they make a clear glaze, which we're not using today, but you can use clear glaze and then you'll see the white through. Okay, so I'm getting all my spheres. I'm trying to dab in between the spheres to get that textured area, the part where the 2 spheres meet, and it's sort of like a little crevice in there. That's harder to get, so you kind of have to dab your brush to get it in there. My white is sort of overlapping here, which is not a big deal if it overlaps a little. You might see it, but if it doesn't bother you, I would say just leave it. If it does bother you, you could use a brush with just water on it to try to kind of erase it from the area that you accidentally got it on. That's an option. Okay, so my 3rd color is the violet. So I'm gonna get some violet. Oh, and I didn't squeeze the water out. And do you see how runny that's looking? So I'm gonna squeeze out the water, pinch it out. Try that again. I also accidentally got some glaze on here that was left on the newspaper from a different project. That's okay if that happens. I have some methods for dealing with it. I can wash it off later. I have a few metal feet I can put some on, but try to avoid the bottom the best you can. All right, so to finish up, I'm just gonna do my 1 thick or 2 thin layers on the bottom here, and then it is done. And check out those 2 side by side. Same colors, before being fired for the 2nd time and after being fired. All right, that's it. Have fun.